So the text is, as it says in the tin, it is the text area where we're looking at fonts, but it's also where we have our brand kit fonts located too. So when you have assigned the font that you want to use for your brand, it will automatically appear here. So for example, I click on text and I have the first thing is the brand kit fonts that I've selected for myself. So we have a heading, a subheading, and a little bit of body text. So they're the three elements that Canva deals with for your brand kit. I'll dive into the brand kit when we finish this, so you can give you a little bit more in-depth info on how to actually create it. So we also then have templates for text, and these are very handy as well. So if you are creating something from scratch, or you want to say something specific, you can search what's on offer here in the pro and free versions. So for example, if there's a sale on, huge sale, you just need to click on it and it comes in. And you can see that fonts come in, or the way it comes in different ways on how actually the element is designed. So for example, this is after coming in now grouped together. And you can see that because, I can move them in one instance, and huge and sale are actually two separate elements, but they've grouped them together for your convenience. But if you wanted to separate them, the same action applies, where you right click and you go to ungroup, and now you can move huge away and you can move sale down. So if you wanted that kind of effect and you wanted an image in here, so you can also change the color on each element. They're all editable because they are text. They're fully editable, so you don't have to say huge. You can just, like Word or like any of the kind of PowerPoint programs, things like that, you can just click on the text, double click, and it will highlight the text. So now you can see what the font is up here, the different weights, the effects that are on it and things like that. So I'll go into that in detail there now. So when you click on a font or you bring a font in and you just highlight it, it'll come up here, the font list. So we have a drop down which will show you all the different fonts that are available in Canva. Now Canva has a good amount of fonts already preloaded, and with a bit of luck might actually have the font that you require. If it doesn't have the font that you require, and say you've picked one from Google Fonts and you want to actually use that, or you have a TTF, which is called a true type font, so it'll be a font with .ttf at the end of it, you just go down here to upload a font. So you can actually upload a font directly to Canva, and then that'll become part of your Canva library of fonts. So at the moment, this font here is Libre Franklin Black. So if I wanted to change that to something else, I can look at the recently used fonts, or I can just go down through all of the fonts that I got going on, click, and it changes straight away. So it's very simple that way. What we have here then, the plus and the minus, is the font size. So it's currently at 194 points. So you have the option to make that bigger, smaller, whatever you wish. So you can do it this way, which is a little bit more manual. Okay, so you can pick a font size, you can hit the plus if you like, do it this way. You can type it in, so we'll say 200 this time. You can also drag from the corners and scale fonts that way, and that's an easy way to do it. But as you get more used to Canva, you might do it this way. So you can scale up, scale down, just like that. And because fonts by their nature are always coming in vector format, so that means they can be scaled up huge, large, and they won't lose resolution. So you can even do cool elements with it, where you can bring up, like, say, the element here, the H. You can bring up the H to a massive size, and you can actually have that as a graphical element within it, you know what I mean? Use that to your advantage, perhaps. Color stays the same with font as well. You can change it to any color. So when I click on the font here, I can change it to any color within the library. No problems. Okay, let's go back to where we were. I'm just hitting Command Z, back to where we were. You can also bold the font if it's allowed. So not all fonts might allow you to bold the font because that's the only weight that it's in, or it might not allow you to italicize the font because that's not allowed within that font family. The only thing it's allowing me to do is underline this one in this family of Poppins Bold. Then you have the alignment. So again, very like Word. You have your left alignment, right alignment, center alignment. Over here, then you have your uppercase, lowercase. So at the moment, uppercase is on. If I click it, it's down to lowercase. It goes down to lowercase. So that's just a nice, easy way to go from upper to lowercase. Then you have your bullet points, which is your standard bullet points list. Numbers, very like Word again. And then here we have spacing. Now spacing is great in Canva. It does it quite in detail, and it's not as fussy, say, as Word or any of the others to get around with. So if you hit spacing, you have your line spacing, your letter spacing. All right, and then you have your anchor text box. So that's where you want it to actually anchor from. So if I say letter spacing is at 0 at the moment, so it as is. If I'm a little bit wider, I can do that. It's also called kerning in design. So that means you're spacing out the space between the letters. So if I increase, you can see that the font letters go further away from each other, and decrease, they go closer. So you can have a nice little bit of play with design, and you can make something really interesting, you know. Line spacing then is the space between different paragraphs. So if you get I'll just make a bit of blurb here. Smaller font. Okay, so if you have a couple of lines of text like this, and you hit line spacing, you can make the distance between the lines bigger. It's like your standard line spacing in Word, you know, and you can bring that up like this. It's quite handy to use, and then the spacing of the letters then as well. You can bring that down to 0. So 0 is just the default for both, you know. Well, actually, yeah, sorry. Online spacing, it follows like Word, sorry. So it's like 1.2 would be our standard. So we say 1.2, but you know, you can always bring that down to 9, etc. to bring it closer, and then bring it up to double spacing if needs be. Okay. Then we have effects. Okay, and this is very handy for the font side of things. So what effects does, as it says in the thing, you can add effects. You can add certain things that might emphasize your design a little bit more. So for example, we have shadow. You can bring in a drop shadow. So I'll just bring up this text size a little bit so you can see it. So when you click on the shadow, you're given a number of options. You have offset, direction, blur, and transparency. So you can make your shadow color as well. I have a yellow at the moment, so I'm going to make it black. So you can see a black shadow there. I have transparency at 100%. I can bring it all the way down to 20%. I can bring the blur. So if I want to make it a little bit more like a blur shadow, which is quite good, maybe bring up the transparency a little bit more. Let me just zoom in a little bit more so you can see the shadow, what I mean. You can change the direction of the shadow, so where you want it to actually blur from. Or sorry, cast to, should I say. All right. And then you have the offset, so how far you want it to go away. So, you know, you can have it raised up, or you can have it right off, just slightly, there, just like that. All right. Then you have lift. So a lift is your kind of your standard lift shadow, which means sometimes you might have white text against a very light background, and you just can't really read it. A lift shadow is very handy to just give it a little bit of lift from the image that it's on. So that's well worth a look at there if you're having trouble getting off a light background. You have the likes then of hollow, which makes your text hollow. Some people like the outline. It's like an outline, so you can use that. Splice then. Splice is like an offset. So you can do fancy kind of little, you know, give a little bit of edge to your lettering there. It just offsets the font twice, you know. And then you have echo. So echo then is just like a repeat of the font, just to give that kind of echo effect. You can see it there. It's kind of like a funky effect. I'll be honest with you, I don't use these that much. The one I'd probably use most would be a shadow, just to give a lift off a light image or a dark image or something like that. You know, these two probably use them more than any of these guys here. You have other ones then that are glitch and neon. So these are just little extra fancy elements that you can click on, and it'll give you this kind of offset, kind of glitchy effect on your font. You might want to use, you might not want to use it. Neon, then the same thing, it gives it that glow. This one is actually quite good. Neon is quite good if you do want to bring it off a dark background, you know. So if I put in, I'm just going to put in an element there, like a just going to put in a simple square. I'll send it to the back. You can see that the glow, let's go back to effects here, and you see that the neon glow is just really making a jump off, you know, it's making a jump off the blue. So it might be something you want to use there. The best tool out of the fonts effects is Curve, because to do this in design applications is actually a little bit more of a pain compared to the way Canva has done it. I think it's simplified it. So let me just show you curves in Canva. So let's say we have our, I'm just going to make this blue background there. I'm just going to put this text in the middle like this. And I'm going to click on effects again. So curve, so if I hit curve here, it automatically curves the text. And it's just really simple, and as I mentioned, it's a lot more intuitive than the design programs. So I can bring this, I can really see the curve in action live, you know. So you can just add a nice little bit of curve to your text on the go. And at least then if you go back into it, you always have the option to go back to 0, you know. Another great little feature there. Okay, so that is the toolbar in the whole text section here. There's also animate, but I'm not going to look at animate just yet until we move on to video section, or adding movement to Canva. Worth checking out all the different font combinations that's going on down here. There's some very good ones, and it could be exactly what you're looking for. So if you do have a sale or something you want to say specific, you can bring it in like this, and you can just work with that. You got something straight away that looks well, and it's easy to edit on the fly. There's also, if I just scroll down, preloaded. They'll have preloaded menus and things like that. So let's see if I can find one. Do a search for menu. Yeah. So a menu. So if I click on a menu here, I can click that, and I've already got there a preloaded menu that I can go in and start editing all the elements on. Really simple, you know. It's just an example of the power of Canva and Canva templates. The search bar in the fonts is pretty basic, you know what I mean. It doesn't have the depth of the photos or videos, but you know, it should be enough for what you need. Okay, moving into styles. Styles in tandem with your brand kit is quite powerful again. So what styles is shows your brand kit colors and fonts all in one area. So as you can see up here in the top, I've got my Morla brand kit. It tells me the font that is for the header and the base fonts. And then I've got my whole palette here, and that's my brand kit. Okay. Then I have some trending colors and kits here. So you can see I've got ones that have fonts and colors with them. So if you're starting from scratch and you want to create a post and you want to use specific color palette or something like that, you can go in here and you can bring in that palette to your design. Now, as you saw there, nothing happened because I've got nothing on my canvas. So what I'm going to do is, and just show you how styles come into play, is I'm going to bring in a template. So I'm just going to bring in this one here, the first one we used. Okay, so that goes in. I go to styles. And this is where styles work. So I have my design here, and I just go, do you know what? I want to change that up completely. I want to change the font, but I want to do it in one kind of go, you know. So what I can do is, we've got a serif font here. We've got a sans serif font as well. So I'm going to click on one of these styles. So let me see. Let me pick Poppins Bold. So if I click that, it changes everything to that color scheme that's in Poppins Bold. So it changes all the fonts, all the colors, and everything kind of just goes across to that. I click it for Roxburgh as well, changed in one go. So all the fonts, all the colors. It's actually quite cool because you straight away got a new design just by one click. So Caveat here, multi-black or muley black font, click that, they change again. So that's the benefit of having styles, and you can do it then for your own. You can change the font and you can change the palette. So now that whole design here now is my brand kit. Fonts, a palette. And it looks great. It's kind of cool actually. It's interesting. You can also then just do it on fonts and colors on their own by just going across here. So at the moment I'm doing all. So I'm doing all brand kit colors and fonts. Now I can just pick colors if I wish. So if I don't want to change the fonts, but I just want to change the colors, I can click colors, click the brand palette. It's shuffling at the moment, so you can see it's actually shuffling my colors in different formats. I mean, that's saving so much time going into each one and clicking them and trying to change. So you can actually just find one that you really like and stick with it, you know. Then you can just go down to trending colors here, all these different palettes, and pick one of these guys. So you can pick this, and just change the color, doesn't change the font. Saying that, if I just delete that template again, go back in, drag it in again, or click it in, go back to styles. If I go to fonts this time, and I click one of these guys, it only changes the fonts. Okay, so at least that way then you know that these colors are going to stay the same, but the fonts are going to only apply. And you can also go in then and just change the font manually if you wish, if you want to make sure that you get something, you know, if one font doesn't look right, you can always do it that way. But it's a very handy way of testing out some colors and testing out some fonts, you know, on a preloaded design or a design you're actually working on at the moment. So that's styles in a nutshell. Audio. Canva is great because it comes loaded with fantastic free music that you don't have to worry about a license for or anything like that. There's a lot of choice, and it's all, for the most part, you get a lot of free, but you also get a lot more with Pro too. So the search in audio, when you click that, you can bring it down to just vocals, you can bring it down to instrumentals, and you can do the availability then. So if you are on a free package, you can just search, you know, within the free. You can apply these filters then, and it will search only specifically for that. But all the categories are broken out really well. You know, you have different styles of music: piano, YouTube, you know, happy. And to add music is simply a click. So you can preview it first. I can see this is a Pro track. It's got the king symbol here. I can see who the artist is, so I can get more music for that if I hit the 3 buttons. And I can see the keywords that he uses for the music as well. So I'll hit play. So you can get a taster of the music, what it's like. You can see it's 2 minutes 24 long. And if you like that, then you can just click it. And when you click it, it comes into your canvas down here on the bottom left. And you can see that music is applied. Audio is applied to the canvas. Okay? So that's always going to be there. So when you hit play, you know it's going to be that music. Now you'll notice that it's only playing this section of the music. There's 2.24 minutes of the song, but it's only playing this small section. And you go, why is that? Well, that's because your canvas determines the time of what's being used in the whole song. So at the moment, my canvas time is set to 5 seconds. And that is because, you know, it's treating the canvas now as a video section. All Canva animations and videos have to come into timing, which we'll look at now shortly in a little more detail. So if I want to bring in more of that music, I need to extend my canvas timing a lot more. Okay, and this can be affected by the videos that you drop in and other audio that you drop in as well. They affect the length of the canvas of your Canva video, shall I say. So we'll get into that more detail on that shortly. But that's audio in a nutshell. You don't have to worry about, as I say, copyright or anything like that. It's all there, packaged for you, ready to go. Okay, we'll look at videos. As mentioned earlier on, the best part of Pro by far is videos and photographs. And as I mentioned, like going to iStock, you can pay like €150 per video. And whereas within here you've got super video and images that are Getty licensed as well, which is really good. And you can search the same way as you did for photographs. You can go into your search bar and you can pick your different availabilities. So if you are on the free package, you might want to exclude Pro and just click free and see what's available, or just Pro. So I'm just going to apply the Pro. Okay. So you can see all the Pro videos. So it shows what I recently used. And then it gives you some suggestions. So you have animated backgrounds, if aerial shots, things like that. So whatever you want, you'll normally find something for it. So like I was looking for running videos, so I just typed in running. And, I got a lot of bad ones, but I got some good ones too, Normally I wouldn't click Pro. I'd normally just go Pro and free just in case you get something, you might miss something on free. But same thing applies as it does with photographs. All you need to do is click on the video you want, and it comes into your Canva timeline like that, or Canvas, and it starts playing, so you can see how it looks straight away. Now the greatest feature about Canva with video is scaling. So you can scale your video up to any size within Canva, and because we've got the canvas limits on the gray, it will crop it automatically. So you can see there that video is cropped now. And we're missing, look, it does run off the video, but at least you know that now is in a story format and it's actually full scale for it. It applies the same way as photographs to videos, where you can double click on the video and you'll get into this kind of grayed out screen and you can see the real estate of what you got to play with. So I have a good bit of video on the left to right to move around. So if I want her more in focus there, I can bring the runner in and just move it across. And then I can hit play and just see that she's more in frame, So a lot of control over video. You can bring in multiple videos if you like. You don't have to just bring in the one video and have it there. So this is great if you want to do some sort of a presentation or something like that, where if I bring in this video here, scale it up to the edges, and then I can bring in another video and I can have that scaled up like that, and I can actually see the bottom bar. If I drag that down, it automatically scales up too. So now I've got this double video format going on. I can even add in another one if I want. Just drag it in. This is where Canva gets a little bit niggly. You have to kind of move things around. It's just so another video can drag in. You get a lot of snappy bits like this. Can be a little bit tricky to get it right. So what you do in that instance is you lock what you're dragging in. So I wanted to drag in a third video there, and as you could see, it was in competition, was kind of wanting to get into every box that was here. So what I do is I click on some of the elements, click on this element, and go over here to the lock tool. This is very handy if you just find that you have a lot of things on your canvas and they're just getting in the way, or they're getting, you're clicking them and they're being dragged around the place. Just lock them. So lock that one, click this one, lock that one. So now hopefully when I bring in my video, it'll stay put. So now I don't have, it's not trying to get in anywhere now. And now I've got a third video in there. I can scale that down in size, move it up. I could bring in a fourth video, same thing. Bring it down, scale it up. Like that. Okay, so you can really do some dynamic posts and dynamic content with multiple videos, if you have them. You can, this would be very good for training even, if you needed to show one thing being done and have a descriptor on another video, So to unlock, you just go and click the lock tool again to unlock. And I'm just going to delete those guys for a second, all right? So the videos, there's our selection of the videos. I'm just going to bring in one more video, and I'm going to show what I meant about the timeline earlier on. So when you bring in a video, your timeline gets affected straight away because the video is dynamic content. So what it's doing is it's saying that this video is X amount of time, and your Canva project is going to be this amount of time. So that video I brought in, is 14.6 seconds long. So if you look over here on your within your video sections, you can see that this video is 28 seconds long, this is 9 seconds long, 12, etc. So you can see how long each video is. I'm going to bring in the 28-second video here and drop it in. Right, you notice that my video length, or my Canva length, has gone up to 28 seconds, 28.2 seconds. All right. Another way of seeing that pretty handy is just go over the top right here and you can see the play button here, 28 seconds. This is your preview. So this is where you preview what you've just done in any design. So if I click play, it previews. Okay, so it previews the video. That was the music playing in the background because I have that soundtrack on. So if I click on my video again, and we'll kind of say, okay, I don't want that to be 28 seconds long. I want it to be actually shorter. Are these options preloaded or your own specific? Are these options preloaded or are they your own specific option? Is that the options in the videos as I bring them in? Or I'm not too sure of that question. Like the videos as they come in, they come in within the timeline that they give you here. So for example, 28 seconds. So what you do is you go up to the scissors tool here, and when you click the scissors tool, then you can see the full length of the video that's in there. So from start to finish. So there might be a part of the video that you don't want to feature. You might want to feature the whole video, or you might only want to feature like a couple of seconds of the video. Okay, so we're going to bring this down. We just go to the edge here and grab this blue, and you can bring it down. And as I bring it down, you can see the seconds are reducing. So let's just say we want the first 5 seconds of the video, 5 seconds. And as I've done that, you can see that the project time has gone down to 5 seconds. So because I reduced the video, it's gone down to 5 seconds. And now if I hit play, five seconds. All right. So I've got the longest video piece in that, brought it down in size, perfect. What if I bring in another video? That's 25 seconds. So if I drag in another video, that's 25 seconds. It bangs it back up. So what it does now is it's taking this as the longest video. So you always have to be aware of the longest video that you've got in a project. Okay, so it's very intuitive from Canva to do that, but it's also just something to keep aware of, that you need to be sure that you've got the right length of video there each time. So what I'm going to do is, after I finish the last elements here, I'm going to open up a previous project that I've done. I'm going to show you how the videos work in tandem with each other, and it'll give you a little bit more of an insight into how the timing process works. Background then is, if I go to background, this is great because it's all free high-res backgrounds for your project. So again, you can search backgrounds up here for anything specific, like, so you can say wood, and you get your wooden backgrounds. You can check within your document colors, and you can just drag and drop, same thing again. So click or drag. I've just dropped in that, and you get a lovely high-res background. So this could be the first port of call you go to when you're starting a design. So you might go straight to background and put in a wooden background and say, right, I'm going to start from here now, and I'm going to work within this element here, or this background here. It applies as well the same way. If you double click on the background, you can move it around to fit your design. I'll drag in this one here, double click, I can move it around to fit my design. So very powerful. See that there? Double click, move it around. So here's your canvas. And another good tip to do when you do drag in a background and you're happy with it is just to lock the layer. So at least that way, then when you start dragging in photographs, you know that they won't go to the background. They'll just stay as is. Okay. Now, when I'm going to dive into photograph effects next. Just show you folders real quick. So folders like on the home screen of Canva, folders are where everything is stored, like your virtual desktop, I suppose, on within Canva. So all the different the different projects that you may make and create can be stored into individual folders. So for example, we have our client folders here. Like I've got one there for our own posts. I'll just show you one for our client of ours here. So if I click on this folder here, I can see what we've done for him in the 2 months. So if I click on, say, May, this is the post that we've done in May, and I can click on that post and it will automatically come into my design. Okay, so that's if you want to take previous design that you've done and bring it in, and you want to grab elements from it, you know. So I can take individual elements from this post that I've designed and use them within a new project that I may be doing. Okay, so that's the folders there. And the last piece then, the 3 little more dots here, and where you can bring in other elements like charts. So Canva has preloaded charts, and again they'll probably add more elements like this going forward as Canva gets on. But if I click charts, you get these cool preloaded charts for graphs or presentations that you may be doing. So you've got your bar charts and things like that. They animate like this, you know, they auto animate. And you can change the font, you can change the values, you can change the colors, you know. So if I double click on the chart, I can start renaming my items, I can rename all the different parameters, and I can change the settings then to show within that graph. So a nice little feature, especially if you're doing presentations, as I mentioned, or for example, if you're doing a post about your company and your company has performed well in a certain area or something like that, you can show it with one of these handy charts really well, or really easy, should I say. You also then have integrations. So if you click on the more option here, you have integrations with different social media platforms, like your Instagram, Facebook, etc. So you can actually integrate really easily with those platforms there. Okay, so I'm just going to go back into photos for a moment there now. This is one of the last pieces on the left that I want to go into the detail. This is I'm just going to bring in this guy here. Okay, this photo here as an example. All right. Now, so when you click on a photograph, like when you click on an element or text, you have options up here. So we have a couple of obvious ones and a couple of ones that we can dive into. So we have flip, which is you can flip a horizontal and you can flip vertical. Okay, so that's straightforward, comes in handy. We have crop, and crop then just means cropping the image. So we can crop the image down and have only a section of the image showing. So if I click off, you can see like that. So that's what crop is. You also have adjust. So when you hit adjust, then this is where you can adjust the image itself, the properties of the image. So I can brighten it up, I can darken it down, contrast, saturation, tint, change the different colors of the image. I can blur the image if I wish, sharpen it by going the other way, put in a different process, and a vignette. You know, so there's a lot of different effects you can do there to adjust your image really fast instead of going into the likes of Photoshop or any other image editing software. Filter then is where you bring in all your standard Instagram filters, and you know a lot of people are familiar with these, and imagine you know you have your different ones that you would see across Instagram, you know, your selfie ones. You can increase the intensity and bring it up and down. Okay, that depends. If you want to use it, absolutely no problem. Okay, so there's loads of options there. And then the best one then is effects. Okay, so if we click effects, we've got a lot of different options here, and you can load up new options too. So we have the most powerful tool in the image area of Canva is background remover. And background remover auto detects white backgrounds or solid backgrounds on images and gets rid of it. So that way then you can have a transparent PNG image within Canva, or you can bring that out of Canva yourself. So I'll break that down really in another way now. I'll show you for example. So we'll use this image of the girl here because she's on a white background, okay? And I'm going to bring this image of the two heads here. I'm just going to scale it up and I'm going to send it to the back. So let's just say we want this girl to go over that image of the two heads, but we don't want the white background. So we want that white background gone and we just want her to be like a cutout over that image. So it's very simple. You just hit the image that you want to adjust, go to effects, and then go to background remover. So it does a little bit of a jig first, selects what it thinks are the negative areas. So just give it a second. It all depends on the complexity of the image as well. Anything simpler, it'll do it a lot faster. So because this is a more complex image, it's taking its time. So there, it's done an absolutely perfect job of that. To do that in Photoshop, it could take you 20 minutes, 30 minutes, and it's just done that there now in a matter of seconds. So I've got the image of the girl cut out perfectly. I can scale it up, and you can see the way the background is showing through perfectly there. Excellent. Now sometimes it might not always work. You might even get a bit that you don't want showing, and it's see, for example, this piece of hair here. Well, what you do there is you click back on the image, go to effects, back into background remover. Just give it a second. Okay, and then you have erase and restore. So they do what they say as well, and restore means it restores any piece that you removed, you can restore it. So if you want to restore some of the white, you can just increase the brush size here and you can rub back into white if you wish. You can show the original image. You can also erase, so the minus tool here will erase anything. So if I don't want that piece of hair anymore, I can just bring the brush size down a bit and I can go over, just go down to the bottom here and zoom in a little bit. See this little zoom button here? It's just down the bottom right. It's just the zoom function. You can zoom right in or you can zoom out. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm just going to scroll up using my mouse and bring the brush size down to 10. You can see the brush size there. And I'm just going to start erasing out that. So if I want to get rid of that, I'll bring the brush size down to 1. Get it really detailed. I mean, this is so handy compared to, say, bringing it into Photoshop, bringing it out of Photoshop. You know, everything's staying in place in Canva. You don't need to go into Photoshop whatsoever. Now I've just deleted that here. That's a good job. Press done. And zoom back out by just going down to the zoom bar here. And the hair is gone. So there you have it. And that's a really good function. Where that works incredibly well is if I just go to uploads, is brands. So if you have your brand and you have it on a white background and you want to get rid of that white background and you want to overlay, you can do that really simple. So let me just pick a brand here. I'm going to pick this one here, Nexus. So I'm going to click that. Nexus comes in. Let's say I want to get rid of the purple. So I just click on the logo and I go to effects and background remover. And it's gone. And you've got yourself a nice transparent PNG logo that you can just overlay over your image or video, you know. So if that was a background, let me just come back. If that was background was video, you can have it overlaid over your video, you know. Okay, so that's the advanced section of the images. There's also within that area there was also effects like duotones and glitches and liquify. This is where Canva has free effects that you can add into your photographs. There are some very good effects, like the duotone is excellent. If I click on one of the duotone examples, it does this lovely duotone effect where you can add in text over that and you can create something really cool, you know. So just put in some text. no matter in seconds. Matter of seconds, you have something cool. You have something really, really visually appealing. There's also other effects here, like screen bad effects, glitches, things like that, frames. There's also, now when you have down at the end, you may also like, so you can load up other effects for free. So pixelate. Let's load this. You can make that kind of 8-bit pixel graphic effect. So I'll just try that. Haven't used that actually yet. Let's see what it's like. Some of them are good, some aren't. So I'll just see if I can see what this one is like. There it is there. I think that's it there. Pellet, isn't it? Yeah, it's not great. When you double click on your effect, you do have the option to play with the pixels a little bit more and play with the effect, so there is a little bit of control that you do have over the effect. In the effects, you also have these templates here. I'll scroll down, frames, so you can bring in laptops and you can put your image in a laptop, you can put your image in a phone, that's saving you a lot of time straight off the bat. Polaroids, so I'd advise going in and just playing with some of these, just see how you get on, and just you have stickers and things like that. These work really well for social media posts, to add in these extra kind of frames. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to go back to the home screen, and I just want to jump into the brand kit and just show you how that works. So I'm going to click on brand kit, and in the brand kit then is Morla, our company's brand kit that I've created. So it's everything I need to create posts, and I know exactly what I'm getting every time is the same. So you have your brand logos. This is where you can upload your brand logo. So I have our white one here, but I can upload another one if I wish, just by hitting plus. And what it'll do then is just go straight from my computer and just upload it then to the brand. So if I even I'll just take an example here. I'll just bring up something like that, and that loads up straight away. And now that's in my brand kit, so I can grab that anytime. And I can just delete it if I wish. I don't need it because it's not relevant, so I'll delete that. The palette then, your palette is, this is obviously my brand palette, so I've brought in each one of those. If I click on it, you can see that it's got a value with it, and it's got a hashtag. That's a hex value, hexachron. So that was the value that I was explaining earlier on in the workshop about RGB and CMYK colors all have hex colors as well. They're the corresponding colors in web. So that one there is a very specific tone. This one here is a very specific hex code as well. If I hit plus, I can move it around and get the different hex colors for all the different colors within the palette here. I'm going to remove that. You can discover palettes by just clicking add discover palettes, and you can just put in green, and it gives you loads of different options here, and I can add them specifically in. But a handy way of finding out what colors are in your brand is to bring in your brand into the uploads, put it on the desktop or put it on the canvas, and then discovering what the colors are within the photo finder. So I'll do that really quick. So if I go back to what I was working on there, go to uploads, and say we have again the Solus logo as I used earlier on. If I get that, and I go to click on that, and I go to let's just see, elements, and I drag in square, click it in, and then I click on the color of the square. If I go down here, then I can see the colors that are specifically in each of the Solus the Solus brand there, so I'll go back home to the brand kit, and in the brand kit then we have our fonts. So I've specifically applied my heading, subheading and body font here, and it's all within Product Sans. So I'm using one font family. It's Product Sans Bold and Product Sans Regular, and I've got them in the different weights. So all you need to do is just click on the pencil tool next to the tree that you're given here, and you can change the font, and you can change the font weight, and you can put in bold and italic if needs be. So assign your fonts, and you can also upload fonts. So if you needed to upload a specific font to your Canva, like I needed to upload Product Sans, so I did, and there it is. There it's uploaded. I got Product Sans from the Google Font, the Google Fonts system. So all I did was I went into Google Fonts. I'll just show you really there. Click there, Google Fonts. Okay, so go to Google Fonts, and in Google Fonts then you're greeted with hundreds and hundreds of different fonts and font families, okay? Loads of them there. So what you can do is you can type in the name of your company or whatever you want to say here. And what it does is it will give you that font in what you've typed in. So it's great to see, you know, how a font applies to your text that you put in there. So even if you are creating a logo, even, you know, you can see how the font applies to it, like that. And then you can search categories, you know, serif, sans serif. So I'm going to click off and just going to say serif. I'm going to say sans serif actually. And you can see sans serif, all sans serifs, no kicks. So if we pick one of those, I'm going to pick Faro. Click into that. I can see that it's got 4 styles in its family. So I have the choice to either select one style of each, or I can download the whole family. So normally what I do is I download the family. So all you do is just go click download family. It downloads to your desktop or wherever you have it assigned. So you can see that one there is downloaded, Farah. So what I do then is I go back to Canva and I go down to upload font, go into my downloads and click. I need to unpackage it. Apologies first. Just need to unpack it. Just go into my font. It's a zip file, so I'm just going to double click on the zip, unpack it. You can see it gives me a folder with TTF fonts. That's true type fonts, and they're the fonts that we want to use. So just go to upload font, go back into downloads, and get the Faro font. Click Alt 4 and upload. And it uploads then they're available. So those fonts now are available for me in Canva in general, you know. So great, keeping you within Canva, very handy that way. So that's the brand kit. So if you are starting out with Canva, I would recommend going into your brand kit and creating that first. So it's for your brand, and you can move on forward with that then as you go into Canva. So I'm just going to go home for a second here now, and I want to show you a previous design that I've done for a client that might be of use. So I'm going to scroll down here now, and you can see all the designs that I've done. Okay, so I'm going to use Solus again, and I just want to show you this, and then I'm going to get Martina's brand, and I'm going to use that to create something like this. Okay, so this is a video that I developed for Solus, but we also applied this to all different social media platforms too. So I'll just show you how this looks. It's a 15-second video, and this is all done fully in Canva. Okay, so that end piece actually should have been deleted, but in general, that whole video was done in Canva with all different elements. So, you know, each video that's put into it was giving it certain times, and the animation was all done as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a post from scratch. We'll use Martina's brand as an example, and we'll do something like this where we can do a multi-page video post. All right, so I'll just go back to the home page, And what we'll do is we will create a Instagram post. Click Instagram post. So it comes in the exact same square format that we need. If you wanted to resize that to go to a different post size, say you have an Instagram post, but you want to go to a different size, it's very simple. All you need to do is go to resize. And you can change it either manually up here, or you can change it straight down here to some presets. So you can see all the presets that are on offer down here. So if you wanted to change it to an Instagram story instead of post, just click story and hit resize. And it resizes it for you. All right. So I'm just going to resize back. And the beauty about it is it actually applies the template to your resize as well. I'm just going to resize it back to Instagram story. I'm just going to I just actually Command Z or went back. I just undid it there. And that's that arrow up here. So you can redo and undo. Just like that. So we have our square format. I'm going to upload Martina's logo there now. So I just go to upload media, and I can upload it from Facebook, or I can upload it from Instagram, things like that. But I'm going to upload it from device, and I'm going to go to the folders. So go grab the brand identity. As you can see, we've got the brand identity split into web and print, so I know to go to web. And I've got the different versions of the brand as well, in the navy and the white. And these are all pre-done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab them all, and I'm going to bring them in that way. So I'm going to bring in these four and press open. You can see that they'll upload straight to Canva. Does this little jig here. All right. So we have the logo on blue, we have it on the white, and we have a clear PNG version of it already. So if I click that, we've got this PNG version, which we know is going to work well on backgrounds. So I can send it backward, and you see the way it's like that. Perfect. Okay. So let's start creating a post, a dynamic post. So we'll bring in our brand first, and we'll bring in the PNG one first, and we'll just scale it down. So I'm going to just trim it a little bit just to make it a little bit neater. So I'm going to get the horizontal tools here just so it kind of it's more visually appealing for us, I suppose, as we drag it around. We'll think about it from an Instagram perspective, how we want it to look on our Instagram page. So for example, I'll just show you one of our clients on Instagram. Hodgins Sausages. So this is a client that we've been managing now for the last couple of years, and we've done this kind of custom frame for them so that their Instagram page looks really uniform. The logo always appears in the bottom left. We have their hashtag, and it just creates a really visually appealing Instagram page. You know what I mean? Really nice and consistent. So let's take that as a premise of how we want to design this post. So let's do a frame to go along with this. Martina, are you all right with this? Can you hear me okay?
Keep going, Lee. This is brilliant.
Keep going. Any suggestions, please shout them out for what I might be getting you to input some text in a minute. So let's just say, okay, we'll take out Hodgins as our example. We want to create a frame to go around, the post here. You can do it by bringing in an element, a frame element, if you wish. But the way I want to do this to have it a little bit more control in my favor is to actually bring in squares and build up the frames from scratch. So I'm just going into my elements, and I'm going to pick a shape. So I'm going to pick a square, and I want the square to have the same color properties as the MRA brand. So I click on my square and I go up to its color, and I see that it's already selected the photo colors from MRA. Now if this was MRA's account, they would have their brand colors already in the brand kit, so I wouldn't need to do it this way. But because the logo's already in, I have the photo colors within there. I'm just going to select from here. So I'm going to pick the navy, Perfect. So now we have an AV box. I'm gonna make the frame manually. So I'm just gonna bring down frame like this. Now I'm gonna copy and paste. So Command C and V, or on a PC it's Control C and V. And bring this over here. To answer the question, Katrina, is it possible to upload your own videos and edit them in Canva? No, not edit in Canva in like we did in Filmora. You can only really edit the length of the video. That's it, and maybe change the properties of the color of it and things like that. But or the transparency, should I say? But that's it. The video editing functions aren't as in depth as, say, a video editing program. But again, this might be something that they might improve as the years go on, you know?
Yeah, thank you for that.
No problem. But it's amazing what you can do in Canva in video. Just like you saw that Solus video you created, that was done in about 20 minutes, I'd say, less, you know? So let's just make our frame this way. This is the way I like to do the frames. Just a little bit more control over it, you know? So we've created this frame. I'm going to hold shift. I'm just going to select all of the 4 frames that I've done, that I've made, and I'm going to right click and press group. So now our frame is 1 unit. All right. So I'm going to lock that frame. Hit the lock button. Okay. So now we have a frame. Not too bad. I'm going to move my logo just up a little bit there. So next thing to do is bring in an image or a video. So let's try bring in a image first, and I might bring in a background first, something to work off. So I'll go into the backgrounds, and something that might be appropriate. So let's try something a little bit abstract. So I'm going to go into abstract here, see all, and something we can work with. Let's try this here. Okay, so it's kind of a texture. It's a water texture, I think, or something to that effect. So that's not bad. So let's just Command Z. Now I'm actually going to drag it in. I just wanted to drag in. Perfect. Okay. You notice that it's kind of snapped into the background there. It's snapped into the background. That's because it's detected the background piece of the canvas. So sometimes you might not want that to happen. So if it does snap into the background, just right click on it and go detach from background. And that way it'll take it away from the background. You don't have to worry about that happening again. So I'm just gonna move our frame back over where it was. And now I have this element here. I might want to bring that down in tone, and I don't want that as intense. So what you do there is you go over here and you see we have a function up here called transparency. And that basically brings up and down the transparency of the image. So I'm going to click that. It's at 100% at the moment. So I'm going to bring that down to about 50%. So it works off the base color. So as you can see the way off the navy, it's gone down a little bit, but on the white, it's gone down to a kind of a milky color. So what we want to do is have that navy fully behind the image, or a corresponding color. So what I might do is I'm going to go to elements. I'm going to pick square again. I'm going to go up to the color. I'm going to maybe pick the kind of dark purple that's here. All right. And I'm going to send that to the back. And I like the way that texture is actually working off it there. So what I'll do is I'll scale up the purple. And I'll click the image. And now you can see that that image is adhering to the purple. And if I go to transparency again, I can scale it up and scale it down and just see what kind of level of transparency I want to work with, you know. So maybe something a little bit faint, something like that, maybe. Okay. Now we'll work with that. Okay. So now we have a couple of layers going on here, and things can get a little bit complicated, and you're going, oh God, what am I going to do here now? How am I going to grab everything? You know what I mean? Do I have to, scroll in and catch everything like that? Well, there's a nice little shortcut that you can do to grab a layer that you might not be 100% sure where it is. So if you hold down Command on a Mac or Control on a PC and click and click and click, it'll get to the layer that you want manually. So I'll do that again. So hold down Command, click, click. I want to get to the MRA brand specifically, and I click, and that's how you find it. So click, 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 and then I can move the element. Still a little bit niggly, but just takes a little bit of moving about. I can send that texture to the back a little bit more. I'm going to send the frame to the back. Send it backward, should I say? Send the texture to the backward again. You can see this is where it gets a bit frustrating when you're trying to just get certain elements and they might just play against each other, and that's fine. If it's just getting a bit too complicated, the best thing to do is just lock what you don't want and then drag and take what you do want. So it's kind of, the MRA logo won't come to the front. So, I'll start coming off that there now, sorry. Now. We'll get there. Send that to the back as well. There we go. So it's just a case of just keep pushing to the back as much as possible until you get what you want. So that's not looking too bad. I think the logo is now working off that purple. So what we might want to do there is bring in another box. And we'll have this as the white background for what the logo is going to work off. So let's change that color blue to white. And send backward. And then we can have something like that. So that could be where the logo lives across all posts. That could stay consistent across every post going forward. Something like that. So yeah, you get something like that. You can have a little bit more of a dynamic element. So let's go into elements again and put it in brush stroke. Okay, so you get these custom loaded brush strokes. So let's put in one of those. So I've got a white one here. I'm going to increase the size of that and send it to the backward. And just might be something a little bit different, you know. Instead of just having a white box, you can have something a little bit of brush stroke to it. If you don't like that, you can bring in another one. Scroll down a bit. Let's try this one here. Okay, scale it up. And you notice that it's black, but you can change that. So just go up to the color, change it to white. Send backward. And just see how it's working. No, I'm still not happy with that, so I'm just going to try another one. Try this one here. Okay. Yeah, keep it white. Scale it up. And send it back. Or send backward. Okay. So now we have this area here. That's like our post template almost, you know. So this is probably going to stay the same across all applications. So let's just hold down Shift and we'll group these guys together. And we can scale it down then manually like that. Okay, so now we have that template, our own little template done already. Okay, so what we want to do then now is let's bring in some video, see if that'll help. So we're going to bring in some video, go into videos, and I'm going to bring in, let's put in consulting, see if we get anything for that. Okay, so we just have some videos of consulting. Martinez probably looks very familiar herself every day consultation. I'm just going to put in something for reference. It doesn't have to be specific. It can be something, it can be anything at all. I'm just going to put it in for reference at the moment. So we'll just bring in this one here. Okay. We can bring that up. Scale it up like that. And we'll just send backwards till the frame is above it. Like that. Okay, and we can hit play and just see what it looks like. Okay, so it is a 10-second video. So we might want that video to be less. You know, we want that to be 5 seconds. So what we'll do is we'll create a multi-page video piece. So what we'll do is we'll click on the video. I'm holding down Control till I get the video. And I'm going to hit scissors button here, and I'm going to bring the video down to 5 seconds. I'm going to click done. I'm going to check the transparency. I'm going to hit transparency on it. Maybe bring it down just so it appears as kind of like a watermark. That looks good. If there's audio on your video, you can mute it by just clicking the audio button here, and you can bring it all the way down, because sometimes some videos come in with audio. You might not want it coming in, so we're just going to do that. Bring that down. Okay, let's bring in some music then to play behind the post that we're doing. So if I just go to audio here, let's bring in that first one that we had. We can check another one. Again, there's so much audio, you could spend an age going through everything, but we'll just bring in one here. So that pops in, and we know that is 2 minutes 24 seconds. Okay, we'll leave that in the background. Let's bring in some text. So we'll go to our text, and we'll bring in some headings. So I'm going to use our font in our brand kit. So I'll just show you, when I click a heading, it comes in like as a heading. When I click a subheading, it comes in as a subheading. And when I click body text, it comes in, well, it should come in as body text. That come in. So let me just add in a heading here now. Let's just do this. So I'll just get the first word, plan. Okay, plan. So we got plan in there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have plan, collaborate, and deliver over 3 pages, and we're going to show you how that we can make a short video about that. If I go into elements, and I can just scroll down and find one that's a little bit more animated. This is the great thing about the elements, is that there are a lot of animated ones. So I'm in brushstroke, and I just want to find one that's going to underline. So we'll scroll down, keep scrolling. Let's see if there's one that's animated. Click on the refining tool here, and we'll pick animated, and that helps a lot better. So we can see that we've all these animated GIFs. Okay, that's what I want. I want this. I want the way it comes across like this. So I want to underline the word plan. Okay, so this is where we start getting a little bit creative with the videos. So let's pick this one here for a second. Okay, it's not in the right color scheme, so let's see if we can get a white version or something similar. I'm going to try white here, see if that helps. Okay, nothing for that. I'm going to try maybe Purple. No. So we're at the whim of what they have for us there. So I'm just going to click animate it again. We'll have another scroll down. See if anything jumps out. Okay. Okay. To save time, I'm just going to use one. Okay, I'm just going to use this one. And brought it in, and I'm going to scale it down. So it just acts as a nice element, bit of extra animation that happens as it comes in. Okay, so the idea is we're going to have plan, collaborate, and deliver on different frames, or different pages, should I say. So the way the whole video aspect in Canva works is done through pages. So each page is kind of like a scene. So at the moment, this scene is 5 seconds long. This is the way it looks for your preview. Okay, so you have your music and everything kicking off, but I might want that music actually to come in a little bit faster. So I'm going to click on the soundtrack, and I'm going to bring it forward to about there. Okay, let's give it a play. Okay, so we have that music coming in there now. Let's see if there's another element that we can add in. So let's bring in a frame. So I'm just going to go to elements, and I'm going to bring in a frame. Frames. And I'm going to bring in a Polaroid. So let's bring in a Polaroid effect. Okay, so I'm just going to bring in. This isn't perfect by any means now, but it's just to give you an idea of what you can do. I'm just going to angle it a bit and bring in maybe a photograph. Drag it in. I'm going to duplicate that, just copy and paste it in. Copy and paste. I have 2 of them. Okay. So drag those guys down, and maybe drag up the text a little bit. Central, bring this underneath it as well. Okay. Now we have kind of something going on here with the start of the post. Now we can export that as a solid graphic, or we can export that as a video alone as it is. Okay, so that that can be brought out straight away. What you do is you go to download over here. So you click the arrow, and it'll give you your first suggestion. Because it knows there's video in it, it's going to suggest MP4 video. So if I click download there, it will download to my downloads folder now as a video, a 5-second video as we've just previewed. If I click the download here again, and I click this arrow here, I've got multiple options. So I can save it as a GIF, save it as a PDF, I can save it as a JPEG. So if you're uploading it up to Instagram, you can save it as a JPEG, and that will come down as a static file as is there. So I'm going to select JPEG. I'm going to put the size up to best quality, and I'm going to click download. Okay, so we'll just let that do its thing. I'll go into my downloads, and you can see that we've already got that one page as a small 5-second video downloaded to our desktop. Really simple. The image is just on there now as well, by the looks of it. JPEG. Download. Okay, so let that do its thing. Okay, and for For some reason it doesn't seem to be going into my my downloads, but it should be downloading. I don't know why that's not, but that will come in as a flat JPEG anyway. So at least you have a flat version, and you also here we go. There we go. Now there's our flat version of it. So you have your flat version, high quality JPEG, and you have your motion. So you can upload both if you wish, or if you just want to do a standard post on Instagram, you can use the flat version. It's no problem. So next stage then is we wanted to duplicate the top page, because we're going to use this as our template, and we're going to just do that, and we're going to do the second part. So this is going to be the second scene. So we're going to have collaborate in here. We're going to expand out the text a little bit, and maybe reduce it down a bit, like that. And we can also maybe increase the size of this if we wish. It's not allowing us to extend it out any further, so I'm just going to leave it as is. I can maybe move the images across the way a bit here. We can replace those images by dragging in new images like this. And if we wish to change the video in the background, we can change that too. Oh, I've actually just dropped. Well, you can drop videos in there too, you know. So that'll be another video within a video, you know, within one of the Polaroids there. Okay, so now our time has gone up to 18 seconds because we've got a second scene and we've got extra elements put in there now. So I'll just hit a play and just see what it looks like so far. Okay, so it just instantly went in there. There was no animation, there was no nothing. So what we want to do is make it look a little bit nicer by adding some animation. So as you saw earlier on all elements, you get the option to add in animation. So the animation in Canva is really good. It's predefined, and it's easy to apply. So if I just hit the gray outside here, the part that's away from the canvas, and I click the animate button here, it'll give me all these options of preloaded animations. So if I hover over any of those, it shows me how it all pops in. So you can see all the different animations options that's available to us. All right, so that gives you that little bit of a dynamic look for each scene. So when you've got an animation applied to a scene, it will animate like that into the next scene. So that's where you get that nice transition. So let's pick one. Pro ones have the crown obviously next to them. So we have, okay, let's pick baseline. So baseline now is applied to that. So if I hit play, you can see how the animation happens. If I don't want to have that happen to every element within the canvas, I can apply a different animation to each element. So if I click the Polaroids and I want them to come in a different way, I can click the Polaroid, go to animate, and I can have them come in different, like fade, tumble. See, I can have them do something different. See the way they come in like that? So let's have the Polaroid stomp in. So I'm going to stomp in these guys. So now if I hit play, the Polaroid should stomp in like that. Okay, so then if I scroll down, I'll apply the same to page 2. So I'm just scroll down to page 2, hit animate, and I can pick a different one if I want. So let's pick pop, just for the sake of it, just to show the difference. Okay, so now we have 2 animation styles applied to both pages. So if I hit play, you can see the way it transitions into both sections like that. You know what I mean? So yeah, as Martina, as you mentioned there, the possibilities are endless. There's a lot of things you can do, a lot of combinations you can do with the whole Canva experience. I mean, you can go on and put in as many frames as you like in this, or as many pages, and that will create scenes. So scenes of your video. So if I duplicate this, I can do the last one then, which is, you know, deliver. And same thing again, I can just delete if I wish, delete an element. scale up a couple of elements. Change the animation again, drift, and just hit play, and I'll just change that music if I wish as well. I can change the music by just going into audio and dragging in a totally new music, and then I hit play. Now you can see here we have a problem, and the problem is that this video, and I explained this earlier on, this video is after dictating the length of the clip, because this video is too long, so we need that to come down in size. That's why that middle frame took so long to move on to the last. So if I click on this guy here and I go to the cutting tool here, I need to bring that down to adhere to the length that we're going with, which is roughly about 5 seconds per transition. So I'll click that to 5. So now hopefully if I hit play, it should go a lot faster. Yeah, perfect. Okay, so it's rough and ready. It's not perfect by any means, but that's just giving you an idea of how easy it is to create from scratch a video template. You know, I know we are coming up close to time, so I want to get through as much as I can. So I'm going to go back into the home for a minute, and I want to show you video in general. So if you're doing a video format, say for YouTube or anything like that, the video format is 1920 by 1080 pixels. That's your widescreen format, and that's what you would use, you know, for going up to any kind of like IGTV, YouTube, or even Facebook as well. You know what I mean? It's the perfect ratio. So when you click on video, the templates that they give you are quite good because they break them into a lot of sections. So if I look down here, we see we have all the different kind of video templates that's going on. So if I click maybe one of these guys, let's bring this one. Let's try this one here. So that brings in everything for you to edit straight away. So I've just brought in this. I've just clicked this. I can use this as a template. So all these pieces here are fully editable. So I can move them around and I can change them. I can change the colors at my will. So that's what I would have done with the Solus video. I would have picked a template and I would have used that template going forward then in the videos. So really handy that way. So I pick another template there, anything specifically. I can bring it in and I can just start editing that template to my preference only. That applies then to other templates too. So I'll just go back to the home screen. And I can do this with presentations too. So if I go to presentations, probably went past it today. Presentation, there we go. Presentation. So it's telling you that this presentation is a 4x3, which is more of a square format. So you don't have to adhere to 4x3 if you don't want. You can go to a landscape or more of a widescreen format, but we'll just use that for the moment. Use 4x3. I'll click on that. And in presentations, you just get more of a kind of a suite with each template. So if you hover over each one, you can see that there's different frames going on. So time management here, 1 of 13. So you get 13 frames. So it may say presentation, but you can use this as a video as well. I hope that makes sense. It's like everything you do in Canva, no matter what size, you can create a video from. So you can say, okay, I've opened up a presentation template here. It's 4x3. Fantastic. I'm going to pick this one here, which has 10 slides. So you can see we have 10 individual pages, all pre-designed. I'm going to apply all 10 pages. All right. So there's all our 10 pages in there now, and they're all ready to edit and work with. But let's say I want to make a video out of it. You can do that. So what you need to do is, let's just say we're going to go to a 1920 by 1080p format. We just hit resize and we can go down to video. Hit video and hit resize. Scales it out for you. So it automatically tries its best to make it look as best as possible for you. You will have to push it around a little bit, but what a start that is. You've got 10 pages pre-designed that you can make into a video straight away. So again, it's a case of animating each section. So stick a little pan, next page, stick another pan, go through each page, do your little bit of animation. You can bring in your audio as well. Let's bring in some audio. Click that again. Bring in that audio. And as you can see down on the bottom, we have all our presentation pages there too. So I can just hit play on this. And it's going to go through each page, you know. So I'm trying to say, like, Canva is so flexible and so versatile. You can use anything within it to your advantage. So as I was saying, what I'm doing here is I'm taking a 10-page presentation where you think, oh, this is just for presentations. Not necessarily. I can make it into a video, and it all goes down to just hitting download, and I can download it as a video straight away, just like that. So that's a massive pro of Canva. And if I just want to use the first page, I can just select page 1, press done, and just download that first page. So if I hit download there, it's just going to download that first piece of animation, that first piece of music as well. So I'll just show you what that looks like. That should be downloading there. Yeah, so that's downloaded. So if I click on that, you can see it's just taking that one page, first 5 seconds. So that's really, really handy. Okay, I'm just going to go back to the homepage for a second there now, and I want to look at the content planner. So the content planner, we're just at 1 o'clock there now, so I'll just cover with the content planner, and then I'll take any questions that you may have, because I know I've gone through a lot today. There's a lot to take in, so hopefully it wasn't too overbearing for any of you. So if you have any specific questions, you can ask me after I go through this. The content planner is brilliant, as I said, because it's integrated within Canva, and it connects to all your social media platforms. The only one I don't think it connects to just yet is LinkedIn, which is a bit unfortunate. But again, they're improving as time goes on. You can connect multiple accounts as well, which is brilliant, kind of like Hootsuite. So any of you that you use Hootsuite, the way you can have, if you're managing people's accounts, you might have a couple of companies on the books, you can have that in Canva as well. So full calendar detail here. All you do is you pick the plus on the day you want to upload to, and you can schedule all this as well. So if I want to schedule something on the 27th, I click that plus, and it shows me all my recent posts, and it also shows me my library. So I can go to my library and pick one of the posts that I might have done for ourselves or something like that. So I can go into our latest Instagram post. I think it was posted today actually. And I can pick that, and I can see, yeah, excellent, that looks great. I'll give you a preview. So this is a little video post I did for Instagram. I can choose the destination, so I can put it to my own account, or I can add in another account. I can send it to our Twitter page. I can send it to, is LinkedIn is there? Perfect. LinkedIn is only added. So that's fantastic. So that's after really creating all the big ones then. So I can add it to multiple accounts. It doesn't have to be just mine, but all I have to do is select the account, select what I want it to be. If I want it to be a JPEG or a video, but I'm saying video, I can put in the caption, standard caption, and I can schedule a post. So something went wrong. Something went wrong on their end. So maybe my connection or Canva's just having a bit of a moment at the moment, but that's it. Once it's scheduled, you can schedule it in there, and it's all ready to go. Go back home. Sorry, go back to the content planner. I'll try that again, just see if it seems to have done something. You can see the way it's showing up there. Yeah, I'm going to delete it for a second. I'm going to try it again. Okay, so I'm going to hit the plus button. I'm going to pick, let's just say the one that we've just done. I'm going to choose the destination, my Instagram page, onto all 3 pages. I'm going to write a caption and schedule the post. Okay, I think Canva, something might be happening in Canva at the moment there now, so it's saying something wrong on their end, so it could be just a glitch in Canva's side, so we'll leave that be. Okay, but that's how simple the content planner is. You can go in, schedule ahead of time, and work away like that. Okay, so any questions, guys, over anything I've done there now specifically that you want me to look at?
Yeah, I think there's a huge amount in that. I'd love to try it myself, play around with it and probably have more questions at that point. And, so when you get into it and try it, you kind of go, Jesus, how did I do that again? So maybe that's, from my point, I need to go back to you.
For one of the individual sessions, yeah. It's huge. Even though it's a simple program to pick up and use, and I've gone in from the basic level, I suppose, all the way up to a little bit more advanced. My post is after popping up there now. I'd say it was just my broadband maybe. But you can see the way you can easily see what post is ready to go because it shows up with an image. And if I have multiple posts that day, it will show me that there's multiple posts there as well, So I better delete that in case it shows up on my Instagram. So I'll just delete that. And that's it.
It's very helpful, isn't it? You can actually set your content up ahead of time and not worry about it. You don't remember to be going into posting things up.
Absolutely. Have any of you used Hootsuite before?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this will take that whole need for Hootsuite out. I think that's what Canva are trying to do, get everything in one place. No need for Photoshop as much as possible, no need for your Hootsuites or anything like that, So are there any specific questions on any of the elements in Canva that anyone has? Or anything in general? We all good?
Lee, it might be useful to get over some of those explanatory videos because, I'd agree with Martina there. There's a huge amount in it.
Yeah.
And, it has unbelievable functionality as far as I could see. But you've gone through so much that I'd say for me to members anyway would be quite difficult. So listen. If you could get some of those over, great. If you can't, no problem.
No, absolutely. I've got